Good evening, welcome back guys. This is now going to be episode 3 of our Illuminating Models how-to series, and this time we're going to be taking the Hornby Mark III new measurement train and going to be fitting the laser lights and the track alignment lights with this kit here. Now this is an Illuminating Models' kit. This is AL09. Sorry for the written handwriting. But yeah, so what we're going to do first is I've obviously taken off the body taken off the top half previously. I've also fitted some copper track contacts, because obviously we need to draw power from the track. This is track powered, so there's no need to flick any switches or anything like that. So we've fitted, and those track contacts are on the website. I think they're AL11 track contacts. I've also pre-drilled the 6 holes that are going to be needed. So yeah, there's no need to modify any of the top half or cut any holes in that. That stays as it is. So actually coming to fit it now, we've got our power supply. What we're going to have to do is remove the weight from inside the undercarriage. That's just quite simple. That's just a case of getting a pair of snips and just cutting the recess off the top. So if I do that quickly, it's not that fiddly a job. It's quite a simple task. So we just break this away, and then all you'll do is just pull out, being careful not to cut the cables. It's just cutting the excess where obviously the heat's been applied to the plastic in the factory. So it's just pulling them apart, and then what you'll be able to do is just lift out the weight. There we go. That there is not going to get used again, so we can put that off to one side. We just empty out all the dust, and then there we go. As you can see, we've got 4 holes in the bottom and then 2 holes in the carriage there and there. Now the position of these, you can look at as many photos as you like and come up with your own judgment. Obviously we've got the 2 white LEDs, the 2 red LEDs and the 2 green LEDs in the side. I've worked off Hornby's principle of, there's a little carriage or a little box cover there, drilled 1 hole in there, and on the underside drilled it at the top there. These here, obviously you've got to be careful not to collide with the side LEDs for the red LEDs underneath, but literally just take a line down there, and same the other side, and then go about 10-15 mil in. So that's the holes drilled. They're 2 mil holes, because these are 2 mil LEDs. So if we just take this out as package, the kit does come with instructions, but obviously as we're going through it on here now, shouldn't need to use them. So this is the circuit itself. It's got a bridge rectifier on there, so this is good for DC and DCC tracks. You've got stay alive functions, so obviously if it goes over a dodgy part of track you won't get the flickering effect. And you've got your 6 LEDs here with quite a long length of lead, so obviously you can play around with it and move it as you like. So what we're going to do first of all is take the 2 white ones which are up one end and just push fit them in at the moment, making sure it all fits. Obviously it's quite a tight squeeze, like so. We've pushed them all the way through. We can make them flush later on. So then moving on to the next set, we will do the red set which go on the track. Quite a simple easy job, just pushing them through, just locating them at the minute, leaving the 2 green LEDs. Yet again they're going to go in the sides. Can get a bit fiddly, but it's not that bad. Just push them through like so. Same with this one, we're just going to push it through. You might not be able to see, I'll show you in a minute on the camera. Like so. And obviously that there is what I mean about making sure that the LEDs don't collide with one another. So they're all loosely in. Now what we're going to do is get a bit of the infamous double-sided sticky tape, and we're just going to fix the circuit board in the bottom of the undercarriage just so it's out the way. You can glue this or you can leave it in position. So we just lay that bit of double-sided tape in there, just give it a bit of a firm push like so. Then what we're going to do is just peel it off. Doesn't help having these big fingers. And then what we're going to do is just lay the circuit board in place with the power leads being closest to the terminals. Just like so. Oh, quite a few of the lights have come out now. But if I just put them back in quickly. Like so. Now what we're going to do is, now it's all roughly in, take the two power cables here, and we're going to do what we normally do with a bit of solder. Is we're just going to tin these two terminals, being careful not to melt any of the plastic or the wires. So just slowly leave the soldering iron on top, let it flow itself, like so. So if I just show the camera, that's it there in place with the solder. And all we're going to do is take the two cables and just trim any of the excess off. Obviously these tabs here are quite long, so we're just going to trim them. Be careful where they fly. And then yeah, we're just going to solder these onto the board one at a time. So it's the same process again, just take the soldering iron, lay it on top. You'll see it melt across and sort of flow. Just feed the wire in, and then just remove the soldering iron and it's hardened again. Then that's a good solder joint. There's a spot on solder joint. So now obviously all the lights are in, power's applied. What you can do is put this on your track, just make sure all the lights work, and then just to prove the stay alive function, take it off. And you'll see that these lights stay on for a good sort of 5-10 seconds, which should be more than enough for a dead piece of track. So to glue in the lights, usual suspect, bit of super glue. We advise putting it on, say a bit of card this has just come off, and then just lightly applying it round the light lenses, just so it secures it in place. So what I'll do is I'll just put a dab on here, like so, and then we tend to get sort of a fine point. You can use the tweezers, tip of the tweezers, and what we do is we start one end just by picking some up, and then all we do is we drop it down on top of the light, move that out of the way, down on top of the light there, just so it's get a good row of glue around it. And what we do is we turn it over and we just hold it in place like so. Make sure the light's flush, and then we just leave it for a couple of seconds, and then we move on to the next one. So nothing really too strenuous. Same with the other one. Some of them you might just have to hold just while they glue. That's if you use a bit too big of a drill. But in the long run, should all be good. Now we move on to the ones up here. Same process again. Take your solder, push the light to its sort of flush, and then just feed the glue around the light. Just making sure it's flush with the carriage. Nothing worse than it looking a bit out of place, like so. Do the other side. Like so. So that's the whites glued and the green's glued up there. We tidy all the cable up later. Then lastly are the two red. Same process again, just taking that, just feeding the glue onto the lighthouse bit of the LED. Just making sure it's flush again, and then just moving on to the next one. Like so. So as you can see, there's quite, if I move that out of the way now, we're done with that. So obviously, as you can see, lights are glued in, circuits fixed in, power's been connected. So if we take this, the carriage now, and it's now the assembly stage. Obviously this here was a Hornby release probably back in 2015. They've since re-released it, obviously I think 2019 catalogue, but it's all down to personal representation. I'm not too fussed that it's not the exact coach. It just looks good when it's going around the layout. You've got the light shining, just gives that extra bit of realism. So tidying up the cables, because there's more than enough room in the undercarriage, we just fit them in place, bending over the tabs, just like so, making sure that the lights are all okay on the underside, like so. And then this one here where there's a few more cables, all we do is just bend all the cables round, like so. Just making sure it's all clear. Take the power cables and put them under there as well. And then what we do is we just get the coach, just making final alterations. We get the coach and we just click it all down so it sort of locks it all together and tidies it all up. Obviously like so. Just making sure none of the cables get in the way. Like so. So all the wires are underneath. Power's off the bogies. The lights are in place. And then just finally, once it's all in, just click in the top of the body, and there you go. That's a kit fitted real time. Obviously the holes are pre-drilled. That's fitted in real time, and yeah, what I'll do is I'll put the next video showing what it looks like on the track bed. Thanks a lot. Obviously like, subscribe, any questions, there'll be a link in the website below, and contact us via our email. Thanks a lot. So obviously here's a video guys of it powered up. As you can see, you've got your white light there going along, you've got your green track alignment light, and if you can just see with a bit of zoom, you've got your little red light there. Oh, wrong way. So obviously that now looks a lot better than the standard Hornby loco. So yeah, like we said, illuminatedmodels.co.uk. You can see them on there, and then this is the video on how to fit them. Thanks a lot guys, until next time, see you later.